Yes. Yeah, we should connect.
All right. You guys having fun? Learning is always fun. All right. So for our next one, we're going to be, so we have the honor of having two queens of cybersecurity. So
No, there's only one queen.
oh, there's only one queen. Sorry about that.
But we
But
have
two top 10
masters.
women
There you
in
go.
cybersecurity at this event. The first, Camilla Chan, she went yesterday and she blew the house down. And now Jocelyn is going to go today. We can't wait to see what you have to teach us, Jocelyn.
Are we rolling?
Yeah, I can go ahead.
I'm going to get everybody back.
Yeah, you guys can grab one.
And then we can open it up to
It is a lot of money.
Yes. Everyone is good.
So, to me, I just think about the on-prem versus data center. It's like, it's cyclical. This period where it's really attractive financially.
All right, Camille, you want to come on down?
Me?
You want to come on down?
Why?
You want to come over this way?
Oh, yeah.
Is it better for you?
Yeah. It's like, why have I?
No. No pressure.
Invisible for you.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Wow, full attack.
Their prices
Okay, wait, help me.
are similar. If you don't have a bunch of DevOps people, because you don't have an institutional memory, because you have a bunch of guys who just started nothing. Of course you want a data center on-prem. What we're building lends itself to having data center on-prem, because we're going to stick it on shipping over here, right? So, but that reporting for shipping it to your megawatt class data center, which means multiple people can use it, so it might be your place, it might farm out to other people, and so I don't really know how to put that into something. Oh, that's interesting.
We may have to talk later. Megawatt data centers, 8 racks these days. The gigawatt.
A gigawatt, yeah. Megawatt's only 8 racks. How much cooling?
I don't need it until I go up. When I go up, I need it.
Here, Mama, just take it now. Okay.
So what's your, they're gonna plug in cost?
It's $1 million a year per megawatt. 12 cents a year.
We should make this up.
Okay, everybody, we're going to get started in just 1 minute.
Cents per kilo. One of the problems is our customers and customers are relocating can't watch it. So you have to deal with it.
Do they really care about being on?
Yes. Data security.
I don't know. We'll find out soon enough.
Assuming you don't have to decide what that's true.
Insider threat is completely.
All right,
The insider threat can do as much damage.
we're going to go ahead and get started. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce my dear friend Jocelyn King. And I just want to tell you a little bit about her. She's the queen of online safety. She's the CEO of Smarter Online Safety and the host of Smarter Online Safety podcast. She's a 20-year veteran in Silicon Valley as a tech executive in hardware, software, and cybersecurity. She's the leading voice in online safety and resilience, helping families and founders, CEOs and celebrities, and safety seekers everywhere. She is the author of the forthcoming book, Digital Self-Defense in an AI World, The Online Survival Skills No One Taught You. Jocelyn empowers people from all walks of life to to stay safe, stay sane, and stay ahead in a world of growing AI security threats. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jocelyn.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Oh, hello, everybody. So great to see all of you. What a great day, huh? Just packed full. And I'm going to give you some overview of a few things related to what's going on in this Bermuda Triangle of cybersecurity, AI, and crypto. And I promise I'm going to give you some tips that you can start doing so you can immediately get safer, because that's what it's all about. So I'd like to see a show of hands. If you have an assistant or a family member who has access to your calendar at email. Okay. Now keep your hand up if somebody also has access to your credit card numbers or wire transfer banking opportunities. Yes, that's about right. So now keep your hand up if you have drilled at least 3 times with them the ironclad protocol for how to detect and prevent any hack from an AI video of you authorizing them to make a transfer. Well, see, we're in Silicon Valley in the Hacker Lab, so I knew there'd be 2 or 3 of you. Either that or you guys just don't like having your hands up. No, I'm just kidding. But I knew here we would have some who absolutely do that. But let's just say it this way, for the hundreds of people watching online and all the people here in the center, 3 hands is not enough. You agreed? So why is this so important? Because 1, were just launched. 1, 2, 3 more were just launched. And that number is growing. And with AI tools in the hand of cyber criminals, the impact and the success rates are getting higher. So that's why we have the Bermuda Triangle of cybersecurity and AI and crypto. So I know everyone in this room. Actually, I know half of you. The other half, I know your type. You're the founders, the innovators, the movers and shakers, and you've got, you know tech super well. And you've got your Ledger Nano, Axel, I'm sure you've got 32 characters of beautiful entropy for your passwords. And, Tammy, you've got 2FA on your 2FA. Am I right? Okay. And we've all got zero trust architecture in our infrastructures. You have, right? I hope. Okay. But here's the paradox. While we've built zero trust into all of our infrastructures at work, what we don't want to admit in Silicon Valley is that we've got this zero trust infrastructure in our professional organizations while we've got a full trust disaster at home. And if not completely, usually the executives I work with have one area they forgot. And the reason that's a big deal is because, as we say in cybersecurity, the bad guys only have to be right once. They only need one door or window in. They only need you to have left one window unlocked, and they can get in. And, last week I worked with a CEO who had everything locked down, military grade security, cold storage, zero trust, everywhere in her infrastructure in the company, and even some good settings at home. But her husband, he clicked on an email link about a package delivery that they were expecting. And that actually gave the hackers access to their personal network, and that had some access to professional files. And if they could have had access to everything. That's not an uncommon scenario. So what I want to talk to you about today is the fact that 80% of your cybersecurity risk, especially the people in this room who have higher levels of tech than most, 80% of your risk is coming from the 20% that may not be protected. So what is this Bermuda Triangle? I'm so glad you asked. Because this isn't about technology failing. okay? It's not about technology failing. But it is about the perfect storm of where AI capabilities and crypto's irreversibility and cybersecurity's zero trust to full trust gap all come together. Because, you know, AI really has created this perfect impersonation. You know, we heard about it from Fiona Ma yesterday. She was talking about the amazement she had when she and Ram's picture was turned into a video of them talking, just from the picture. You know, we heard things from Robert Scoble yesterday about what's happening with him. And I'm sorry, Robert, your host, because 222,000, you know, tweets and all that video, it's a gold mine. So he's got to extra protect himself. But it is so simple. And most people who try to protect themselves by being mostly offline, all you need is a photo and a little bit of, and ChatGPT can emulate any post that you've put in social media. So we've really got these incredible tools for ourselves in AI that we've been talking about yesterday and today. And the hackers have them too. So the second part is crypto, because, you know, crypto's beauty is its immutability, and crypto's curse is its immutability, right? And that's why it's such a prized target, right? Because crypto has made theft instant and irreversible. It used to be wire transfers and things, you were somewhat reversible, timing was key, but you could often save, you know, some kind of fraud. But you can't with crypto, it's gone, and then it's in the blender, washed, and irretraceable. Ask Bill Murray, who lost $185,000 worth of Ethereum in his personal wallet because of one loophole from his personal inner circle. And that was $185,000 generated at a charity event for selling NFTs to benefit the charity. So FYI, hackers don't care that it's for a charity, right? Then you've got the third vector, which is the traditional cybersecurity, even zero trust, assumes human verification works. There's a certain amount of foundation that human verification works. And what you see with AI crime, AI cybercrime, and deepfakes is that it passes the human evaluation. It's too lifelike. And so we need zero trust, you know, from ourselves and from the people closest to us. So, you know, your parents, the thing is, when you think about trust, I want you to think of it this way, because your accountant trusts your email, right? Your parents trust that when you call in distress, you're actually in distress, and that it's really you. And your assistants trust your voice, and that's why you're so vulnerable, you know? And look at it from their perspective. Think of your assistant. We've got a lot of VCs and movers and shakers in this room. You've all got assistants. And so if you think for a second that they recognize the fake, let's just say it is really. Hold, please. Testing. So think about your assistant for a second, because think of the daily, maybe weekly, but for a lot of you, daily crises that they get from you. Think about, you know, they've been with you through your juice cleanses, your ayahuasca retreat to Costa Rica that you made them tell everybody was a leadership offsite. That time you tried to buy a giraffe, remember that one? And don't forget the fact that you bought thousands of dollars of sushi at the last minute for the party. So why would they question you on this? It's a wire transfer for a legitimate business deal. Right now, as you're sitting here, some of you flew in for this event and are going back home. So just a couple of hours from now, your assistant could be out on a date, putting their kids to bed. They get a call from you a video call from you. You're in distress. You're in some funky airport, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and you're telling them your plane got diverted, and you're about to board, your phone's about to die, and the deal you've been working on here all week, you've got to get this wire transfer through, or your whole week is for nothing, and they've got to transfer this. Anybody ever see Devil Wears Prada? There's this great scene where the lead character is trying to get Meryl Streep out of Florida, out of Miami in a hurricane, trying to figure out how to call the National Guard. That's what your assistant's focused on helping you with. They're not stopping and verifying that this video that looks like you, it's your identical face, it's your voice. It's even got that nervous twitch thing you do with your hands when you're agitated, so they really don't want to upset you. And that's what you're dealing with. So you got to think of from their perspective. So getting upset with your assistant for wiring that money or sending Bitcoin or having your parents try to save you from being arrested overseas, that's what we're dealing with. So when you put all those things together, you got the Bermuda Triangle. One thing I can tell you about having worked in cybersecurity and working with some of the best cybercrime fighters I've ever met, you know, the guys who are protecting, guys and gals, who are protecting our nuclear submarine codes, who protect trillions of dollars on Wall Street, who protect the companies, the logos you and I see every day, is that one thing you can know about cybercrime is that not every gamer is a hacker, but it is true that most hackers are gamers. And they're gamers who like to win, just like everybody in this room. And for them, the people in this room, you're a trophy. You're a big game. You might have a lot of trophies at home. You might even have a trophy wife or husband. But now you're the trophy. If they could take you down, even get a little bit from you, boy, the credibility, they could live on that for months, if not years. Not to mention all the money they've gotten to take. So when you think about it that way, and you think about the fact that, look, I'm not worried that anybody in this room is going to be taken down by a credential stuffing password 123. We're in Silicon Valley. We are in the original hacker dojo. That's not going to happen here, I hope, right? But what can happen, most assuredly, is you could get targeted. I don't know. Dwayne, did you calculate the net worth of everybody coming to this event? It's high. It's very high. And so you've got a target on you. You've got a bullseye on your back. And I don't want you to suddenly worry about trying to spot them when they come for you. Because the good news and the bad news is they're not coming for you directly. They're coming for somebody in your ecosystem, someone close to you. So I want you to think about that. So it's probably not your IT team, right? You've got them covered. I hope you have, right? Okay. I'm talking about the people you trust. Your assistant who has your credit card and your bank accounts. Your kids and family who share your home network and have access to your devices. Your parents who would do anything if they thought you were in trouble. Your accountant who has your social security number and your mother's maiden name. Every one of these people is a vector. Hold on, I got an animation in here somewhere. There we go. Every one of these people is a vector in your attack surface. And I'm not saying they're going to attack you, but they are going to be used to get to you. So how prepared is your trust circle? You know, can your spouse or partner spot voice synthesis from a voice coder? Can your assistant, you know, check for the temporal artifacts in eye movements? No? Yeah. Do your parents know about GAN-generated deepfakes using StyleGAN 3 algorithms? Probably not even in Silicon Valley. And so your accountant, they really identify a video call from you with facial reenactment. So even here in Silicon Valley, probably not. So what's happening? I want to talk to you about a couple of examples. Some of them, some people in this room have heard. Some of them I know none of you have heard. So MGM, great example. You guys all heard that on the news 1 to 2 years ago. It's taken down for 10 days. And it ended up costing them $100 million. And they were held for ransom because of a 10-minute phone call that happened with an employee, in air quotes, calling in to their support desk saying they lost their they couldn't remember their password and they had to log in. And so they got verified using information that was on their public LinkedIn profile. $100 million. MGM in Las Vegas shut down. Guests staying in the hotels having to find alternate lodging. Right? No joke. Ferrari. So the CFO of Ferrari was contacted through a private secure WhatsApp channel by the CEO needing to wire money. Ferrari does acquisition deals all the time, partner deals all the time, hundreds of millions of dollars, easy peasy. Contacted about wiring these funds on this deal. Not an uncommon request. In fact, the exact wording was very familiar to the CFO. Fortunately, this one has a happy ending. The CFO's spidey senses were up. Something didn't feel quite right about this request. And it wasn't because he was convinced it was the CEO. Looked like CEO, sounded like CEO. But he did a double verification. He said, "Sir, yesterday you recommended a book to me. Please tell me the title of that book." And the scam ended. That's a happy ending. A founder called me because his mother had been, his parents had gotten a call at 2 a.m. Now he had recently exited with 9 figures. Fortunately, he was fine. But his parents got a call at 2 a.m. Their time, that he was in trouble. And he was on a business trip. And he had been arrested and he had lost his wallet. And it was a video call. And he's sobbing. Now the man that they haven't seen cry since he was in middle school and dropped the ball and lost the game. And they wired $50,000. And he was actually in a board meeting on Sand Hill with his phone on silent, on Do Not Disturb. These are all really true examples. And I know a woman who, was at the height of her career. She was working with the CEOs and founders, board members, growing her career. At the absolute pinnacle was just like finally, like everything she had worked for 15 years. And she got targeted. Not a random attack, but she got targeted. Husband's phone got rootkitted. They got into her network. They broke into her home, but leaving no trace and no evidence that they'd even been there. They planted surveillance in her bedroom. Yeah, this wasn't found for a while until the attic repairman found the device and swept it up. 2-year ordeal. The FBI couldn't help because it's a standard device that could be bought on the internet from anywhere. No specific date or evidence of the break-in because since they'd hacked into the network, they disabled the cameras that would have caught it on that particular day. Turned it back on, nothing unusual. Everything's still working. 2-year ordeal. She lost a good portion of her retirement. She lost her 20-year marriage. She lost her health. And she almost lost her sanity. And I know this story incredibly well because that was me. And that's how I got into cybersecurity 9 years ago. And I looked everywhere for those 2 years for the solution, for how to get out of this. You know, and the FBI couldn't help me and nobody could help me. And that's how I started meeting these great people. And that's how I learned how to protect myself. And that's, I'm happy to say, here's another happy ending of a catastrophe. I went from being a cybercrime victim to being named a top 10 woman in cybersecurity. And now I get to use that to help others learn how to protect themselves. So let me tell you how the game has changed. 3 seconds. That's all the video anybody needs to do a deep fake. They can do an animation of you with just a photo, but to really get a deep fake, for AI to analyze your facial, muscular features and imitate you, they need 3 seconds. And so that's, you know, so you can get, I mean, Axel, that's less time than it takes you to order your oat milk matcha latte with two squirts of vanilla sugar-free, right? I've been to your coffee meetings, I know this. And so your earnings call, clonable. Your podcast interview, clonable. That video that your head of marketing just posted on LinkedIn yesterday, clonable. And so forget about the good old days, you know, of buying your password, if they could get it, for $2 on the dark web, or your credit card with a PIN for $25. Now for $50, they can get your behavioral profile. Unless you're Robert Sobel, because he's so visible, I'm sure it's less than that. Supply and demand. So look, you know, I know this is scary, but you know, the good news is you're not the one who's having to tell your board why part of your Series B funding your in-laws accidentally sent to a Nigerian prince. And Will, back in the 1990s and 2000s, this is my Gen Z friend, there was these Nigerian prince scam emails going around. So you can ask Gemini about it later. But yes, they're back. Except now they're deepfakes. They're on dating apps. You were hearing about the dating app on the last panel. They're everywhere. So welcome to the Bermuda Triangle. So I want a bargain for you. You've probably heard a lot, you've heard some dystopian stuff today. Am I right? Show of hands. You've heard a lot of bad news today. And you've heard a little bit of hope. But I just want to make a bargain with you. I'm going to give you some tips. And if I give you tips that'll help protect you or someone you care about, would you agree to commit to one action that you'll take and share it with someone else so they can get safer? Because of what I went through, I'm on a mission to help others. So raise your hand if you're going to do that. All right. Full house. Thank you, guys. So
3-minute warning.
3-minute warning. You got it. Okay. So here's your steps. Step 1, you need to do a trust audit. And most people don't do it. See, cybersecurity, everybody thinks cybersecurity is so hard because the technology is complex and the enemy is formidable and you can't stay ahead. I say it's because you can't protect what you can't see. And most of what we think of with cybersecurity is actually in your settings, it's in your emails, it's in your password manager, it's scattered all over, and you can't see it. But once you can see it, it's as simple as locking up your doors and windows at night or when you leave your house. So I want you to do a trust audit where you think of who has access, who needs access. So take away access from people who don't need it. Think of need to know basis. You need to think of who needs to be limited. You know, the person in your family or friends who's not technically competent and you know their Facebook has been hacked 5 times probably. You want to limit their access to you. And then who needs training? Who's left that needs awareness and protection training so that they won't be targeted? And you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting them. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is create a human firewall. And there's an app for that, APP. I want you to think of awareness, protocols, and permission. They need to know the threats that exist. So share this information you've been getting today and yesterday, and hopefully some of the things I'm telling you. You need to have protocols. You just need to have clear, simple verification steps. So for instance, no money is transferred unless a safe word is used. No, you always have to verify on the second channel. So permission, you need to also give them permission. I just talked about who's in this room. I can't tell you how many chief security officers I speak to who tell me what really keeps them up at night isn't their most uneducated person in the employee base, it's their executive team, and often the CEO, because they're the worst offenders of actually following the protocols because they're exceptional and they're the exception. And B, they're the most targeted. And so they're the biggest risk. And all CISOs and CSOs, except for 2 that I've spoken to, say that's who's going to take down the company. So you need to give them permission to tell you. Remember the medical officer on Star Trek was the only one who could find captain to quarters. You need to give them that permission. And then I want you to think of the 3 S's. You need to have safe word. You share this with your family. By the way, don't write it down. Don't text it. And preferably, don't even say it in a room with she who shall not be named, Siri or Alexa, and your phones and everything. Do it somewhere else and change it every quarter. You need to have a second channel. If you're asked to wire or transfer money on a secured text, you need to verify it on a phone call, vice versa. You need to have an alternative channel. And the third is do safety drills. Do you do earthquake or fire drills ever with your family? Some of you yes, some of you know. Well, whether you do them or not, I recommend you do safety drills once a quarter. My team and I will send out emails, friendly phishing, and see what people bite on, and friendly social engineering. And it's always a high rate until people get used to the fact that, oh, it looks like regular communications. So I want you to do that as well. And that's what you need to do. So now did I give you some tips? Okay. So here's your action plan. You can do one, some, or all. Today, I want you to text 3 people that are important to you about setting your safe words. You don't tell them what it is in the text, but you say, we're going to set up some new security. Tomorrow, you're going to audit your trust ecosystem. Write down everybody, whether you like to mind map or list or create an org chart style. We got a lot of different brain types in this room. Do what works for you, but map it out and then figure out who doesn't need permission and who does. And then on the weekend, you want to have the family conversation. And on Monday, you want to sit down with your team and set up written protocols. And then every quarter, you want to have check-ins and drills. So it's your choice. And the good news is the Bermuda Triangle, so the bad news is the Bermuda Triangle is real. But the good news is that you don't have to be a victim. Just like you don't leave your doors and windows unlocked and wide open, you don't have to leave yourself wide open online either. And you can stay safe, stay sane, and stay ahead and have a wonderful life, even in this AI world. And so with that, also I have some free resources if you want to share some things with your family members or office staff. I put it in plain English so that you can communicate that with them. And if you want information, there's our email, QR code. And I'm Jocelyn King. Thank you. You've been great. Thank you for your time. And now I want to introduce this amazing panel. And I'm going to turn it over to Shelly Morales.
We only have one mic.
We have 2. I think we have that one.
Oh, cool.
Testing.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm so I'm a founder. I know. Change batteries.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Jocelyn, that was awesome. I know we've talked about it in the past and how important it is for us all to be really, really diligent, right? So again, I'm Shelly Morales. I'm the founder and CEO of Morales HR, and we do recruiting from CEOs through individual contributors across all industries, levels, and professions. And I'm also on the founding team of an agentic AI startup, which is keeping me busy. I'm really excited to be joined here today. Although, Tammy, I don't know, your chair looks kind of low. Like,
Yeah, I know.
all of
I
a
just
sudden,
looked
I'm
over
like,
at her,
oh
like,
my
she's
goodness.
taller than that.
right?
That's
So-
as high as it goes.
Yeah, right. So I wanted to take just a couple of minutes and have my panelists introduce themselves. So I'll start with you, Tammy. Tallulah, would you mind giving Tammy the mic? Let's just take 30 seconds or so and tell everybody who you are and what you do and what brought you here today.
Great, I'm Tammy Schuring. I'm currently the CEO and co-founder of Polymathic. We are creating the context supply chain for agentic AI, because there's no way these systems can do what they need to do, give us the outcomes we deserve if they don't truly know us. But we're doing it in a way that it's safe and secure so that we walk in with our 360-degree digital life. I've been in tech for 32 years here in Silicon Valley. I know I don't look that old, but and 22 years in cybersecurity.
Amazing, thanks. Tallulah?
Thanks. I'm Tallulah Lamerle. I'm a partner at Fifth Era. We're an investment management firm that invests in exponential technology for the past over a decade. And I lead our AI strategy. So I have an interesting investor perspective and hat. I spent the last 10 years in the world of AI. I was an advisor and strategist for FTSE 100 companies as a strategy consultant, so working with Johnson & Johnson and Mars, HSBC, and other large corporates when it was more machine learning and big data, nothing like the enterprise and vertical AI many have been talking about today. And then worked with AI scale-ups and growth companies for a number of years as a fractional executive and fractional COO, and now investor. So I love the AI and humanity intersection and the humanity side of the technology equation, which you were already touching on in terms of trust and protecting what matters most to us. So excited to talk about that.
And since, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jocelyn.
I was just gonna, we'll share this mic and you guys can.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
And since you've already
Yes.
told us who you are, we're gonna just move into some of the questions. And it's such an interesting topic, this actual intersection. So what I would love, I'm actually gonna ask each one of you an individual question. Tammy, when you hear the phrase protecting what matters most, what does that mean to you personally, not just professionally?
Well, even though I've been in cybersecurity, actually doing data protection, encryption, and tokenization for 22 years, that's actually not what matters most to me. What matters most to me is human connection. What matters to me is humanity. It's getting back into the world of being in person. It's being in a world where we actually have opportunity to build closer relationships with our families, with our friends. So I'm very committed into finding ways to get AI to work for us, with us, so that we can get back out there and do the good stuff. I am definitely not interested in the Ready Player One world that we all saw in the movie and read in the book.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Jocelyn, I'm going to hand the mic to you in a moment. Why do you think the conversation about AI, cyber, and crypto so often starts with fear? And what's the hopeful counter story?
Well, I think it's because we have, since I work with people every day on this, if you say cybercrime or even cybersecurity and hacker, everybody immediately goes into fight or flight. I've studied neuroscience. I'm a certified neurosculptor. And, we go immediately into our fight or flight response, and we leave this wonderful prefrontal cortex that we've got in front. So the main thing we have to do is, that's why I like to make it practical, that you can get safe, step, just check the boxes. The checklist I was looking for didn't exist, and checking those boxes and knowing what you need to do calms your limbic system and gets you, and also makes you feel empowered, because it's really about taking control, taking back control, or if you feel you never had it, taking control in the first place.
Amazing, thank you. And Tallulah, do you believe these technologies that are being built today will shape our personal lives more or professional lives more into the next decade?
Both. I think both. I mean, it's rewriting every industry, the way we interact, socialize, connect, love. So I don't think it's going to be more one or the other. At the moment, it's how we work. That's kind of the immediate short-term trend. That's why everyone talks about enterprise and vertical AI, because it's, enterprise adoption is skyrocketing, and companies want to use this to take cost out of the organization, improve efficiency and productivity. So that's the near term, but I get really excited about, when ChatGPT 5 came out, there was a big backlash from people who felt it lost the tonality and, interface that they were used to in terms of kind of this trusted relationship or however they had been using it. And so, there was almost this awakening moment then, which I think we're just at the start of, that people realize there's hundreds of emotional use cases for AI. People are using this technology to feel seen, heard, and validated. And those are almost invisible or not built for as of yet, but there's hundreds of those. And similar to how the internet, entire industries that we couldn't have fathomed at the dawn of the internet, like social media. Like no one could have imagined social media, the size, the scope. We couldn't have imagined e-commerce. In AI and in any of these technologies, it will be the